Having a child will change your life, but not in the way most people expect. There were moments where I felt overwhelmed, where I questioned if I was ready, and even wondered if the sacrifice and pressure were really worth it. But looking back now, I can honestly say this. Some of the hardest moments of becoming a parent were also the most meaningful. They didn't just change my life, they changed my heart, my priorities, and how I understand love and purpose. In this video, I'll share the 5 lessons parenthood taught me that can completely transform how you see your own life. So what actually happens when a woman gets pregnant? Because something extraordinary takes place right from the very first moment. A completely new human life begins its journey with a unique DNA and growth already underway. And even something amazing that scientists have observed, a visible spark of light. But that raises a deeper question. Where does life actually begin? There are many ideas about this, but I want to share honestly what I've come to believe through faith, experience, and reflection. Life begins at conception, at that exact moment of fertilization when that spark appears. A person with dignity has been created. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And even now, at the beginning of every human life, we see light. So why is bringing life into the world a gift? Because those 9 months of pregnancy are not just a waiting time, like you have an appointment at the doctor's. There takes place a transformation for both mother and the child. There's bonding, physical change, emotional depth, everything preparing for a new person to enter the world. And there is a connection between mother and child that is so deep, it can feel overwhelming. Sometimes this is because it's a kind of love that she's never experienced before. A love of self-sacrifice, a love that gives itself completely for another. And this kind of love is something we are all invited into. But let's be honest, those 9 months can also be filled with doubts, fear of suffering, fear of change, fear of losing control over your own life, concerns about health, finances, and even the sex of the baby. And while those thoughts are real, they are also rooted in something that is very important to directly confront. True love is selfless. Taking myself as an example, I'm a father of 2, and after witnessing what my wife has gone through, 3 pregnancies, including 1 miscarriage, and the sacrifices we both had to make, how could we have known it was all worth it until we met our daughter and our son? How could we have known that even the pain of miscarriage would somehow strengthen our marriage? That our children's lives are truly gifts? You don't fully understand it until you live it. There are 5 lessons I've learned from becoming a father, and I can say this with confidence. Nothing else in life teaches you these lessons the same way. Lesson number 1, love. If you want to understand what love really is, not just in theory, but in reality, this is where it begins. Because love is not easy. Love is testing. Love can be very uncomfortable. But what comes from love is deeply rewarding. And here's where things change. When a child is conceived, love is tested in a completely new way. Many people avoid this. They avoid the testing. They close themselves off to new life. But in doing so, they also close themselves off to the fullest expression of love. And of course, this lesson of love isn't limited to this alone. But new life teaches us something very clear. That true love is a willing sacrifice of self for the other, just as Christ gave himself up on the cross for us. For the woman, it's giving of her own body so the child can grow, be strengthened, and enter into the world. And for the man, it's stepping up to support her, to carry more responsibility, to be present through the pregnancy, the sickness, the recovery, and the care of his child. In all of this, both man and woman are living out something that goes against our natural instinct, which is to think about ourselves first. This is where we begin to understand what love really is. Love is always patient and kind. It is never jealous. Love is never boastful or conceited. It is never rude or selfish. It does not take offense, and it is not resentful. Love takes no delight in others' sins, but delights in the truth. It is always ready to excuse, to trust, to hope, and to endure what comes next. This is the lesson of true love. Lesson number 2. Discipline. It's easy to be disciplined when life revolves around your goals. No distractions, little responsibility, when you choose what to do with your time. But what happens when your life is no longer your own? When your sleep is broken, your plans are disrupted, your energy is drained. That's where real discipline is formed. That's where real self-mastery is formed. Being a parent means to be fully depended on. This makes discipline so much more important. To have routine, to be organised, to have self-control, and to ensure you can be present and attentive to all your children's needs. But how is it possible to maintain personal goals in this kind of reality? A reality of self-giving, where it feels like there's less and less and less of you to give to yourself. Are you able to stay disciplined in your health, your spiritual life, your work, when you're lacking sleep, when your child is unwell, when your wife needs you more than usual? This is where the real test of discipline lies. But there is also something else here, something deeper. There is a grace given to the one who chooses this life, to the one who accepts it willingly and embraces the responsibility of giving themselves for their child. I can honestly say it is a huge challenge, trying to stay disciplined in personal goals while also giving yourself fully to your family is not easy. But God provides. He has given me the strength to give myself completely to my family in the ways they need, and at the same time to continue striving, however imperfectly, towards my own goals. And through this, I've seen something change in me, a growth in resilience, a deeper discipline, not built on comfort, but built through self-giving, through surrendering difficulties to God and continuing forward, even when it's hard. This kind of discipline prepares you, because family life will require more of you. There will always be moments where more love, more patience, more service is needed, and God gives the grace to meet those moments. But this kind of discipline, real discipline, it only comes when you are willing to offer your life to God's will. Not just your plans, but your time, your energy, your sacrifices. And in that offering, you don't lose yourself. You are formed. Lesson number 3. Perspective. Most people live their lives trying to better their own situation, their health, their finances, career, and often there is very little thought about how their life could be used to help someone else, to help those in need, those with nobody to fight for them, the innocent ones. Because our natural human perspective is usually centered around ourselves, what I want, what I need, what I desire. But when a child is conceived, something begins to change, a perspective shift takes place. Because now there is someone completely innocent and dependent, someone in need of protection, nurturing and love. Suddenly, life is no longer only about me, my plans, my comfort, my future. Someone now relies on me. And at that point, I have a choice to accept this lesson of love and selflessness, this gift of life, and to give myself for this child, or to choose myself instead, to reject the sacrifice and responsibility that comes with bringing life into the world. But by accepting life and choosing to serve this child, your whole perspective begins to change. You stop looking inwardly all the time and begin looking outwardly towards the needs of another person. And this is what true love is, to give yourself for the other, even when it costs you something. Lesson number 4, true joy. There are many things we chase in search of happiness or satisfaction, experiences, achievements, relationships, entertainment. And there's usually nothing wrong with these things in themselves, but they all share one common reality. Once the moment ends, we return right back to normal again, back to that emotional equilibrium. And because of this, we often begin searching for the next thing that will make us feel happy again. Another experience, another distraction, another temporary high. This can quietly become a cycle of constantly chasing satisfaction. But all these things are fleeting. They come and they go. And this made me question something deeper. What if our normal state could actually be joy? Not just moments of happiness, but a lasting joy that remains even when circumstances change. And I want you to know that this is possible. It is possible to live joyfully without the constant need to chase another experience or feeling. Because true joy is not the same as temporary happiness. True joy is a gift of the Holy Spirit. It comes through a deep communion with God. And I experienced this for the first time when I became a father. The presence of my children in my life, their existence, who they are, gives me such a deep gratitude and satisfaction with life that even in difficult moments, I still see them as one of the greatest gifts I have ever received. And there are many challenges in parenthood, but sometimes simply seeing their faces is enough. No night out, no achievement, no relationship, no experience has ever given me a joy that has lasted like this. This kind of joy doesn't disappear when the moment ends, it remains. Lesson number 5, and the most important. The life of a baby is perfect however it comes. There are many thoughts that can enter the minds of parents when a baby is conceived. Most are positive, but often there are many fearful ones too. Concerns about finances, health, the future, the sex of the baby, or even fear of how much your own life is about to change. And sadly, these fears can sometimes lead people towards abortion, which is a tragic loss of precious life. But I invite you to reflect on everything I've shared in this video, because I can honestly say this: there is nothing in this world that I would not give to experience it all over again with another child. Even the hardest moments, even the sleepless nights, the suffering my wife and I have gone through, even the grief of miscarriage, it has all been worth it. And because of that, I implore you, do not be afraid of this new life. Look forward to what this child will bring into your life. You will be amazed by how deeply this little person can change your heart. Don't let fear or doubt rob you of this gift, because the enemy does not want you to experience the joy and the transformation, the love that comes through new life. So choose life. If you found value in this video, like, comment and subscribe. And if you didn't, feel free to let me know why in the comments below. If becoming a parent has made you realise how difficult it can be to balance work, family life, responsibility, and being truly present at home, then click the video on the screen about finding a healthy work-life balance. Because success means very little if we lose peace, our marriage, our time with our children along the way. See you in the next video. Peace.